Hey there, good morning. Another Friday morning found us, huh? And that mix of weather out there, I'm not sure really what it's doing now. I think I saw maybe a mix of rain and probably ice. But that's springtime in Ohio. I think we're drifting more towards the springtime end of the season. So today is a class about back care. And full disclosure, I'm taking some more yoga teacher training and I'm enjoying it really well. And my most recent assignment has been to do with sequencing a class for back care. So I'm going to bring to you this morning some of the components of that. As I was putting this together, I kept thinking of the word resilient, resiliency, resilient. And so I looked it up. And the second definition was something like the ability to spring back from bending and compressing and stretching. And the analogy there was like the cushion in a shoe. You know, you walk in the shoe, but it's still able to spring back. And the spine is that way too. So through strengthening and lengthening and rebalancing those joints, we can have a nice healthy spine. So meet me on the mat. I'm going to sit in Sukasana. Sukasana, easy pose to begin with. I've got a blanket back there to prop my hips up. I welcome you to do the same thing. So come to a comfortable seat. And what does that mean? That means that the spine is in alignment. We're not gripping with the back to try to hold us upright. That's why I brought a little bit of a cushion underneath my hips so I can kind of hover on the edge of that cushion, and you can kind of see in my side camera. Instead of gripping in my low back, now I'm free to have that little inward curve in the lumbar spine, the low back, and then rise up from there, grow up from that place of being grounded into the sit bones. The core is a very important part of back health. So our breath practice this morning will bring some awareness to the core, not only the core, but the entire torso. So as you sit here, just breathe naturally, in through your nose and out through your nose. Feel the sensations that come with the breath. And then shift awareness to the belly, even to the pelvic floor. And as you inhale, allow for expansion there. And as you exhale, draw your belly button back towards your spine a bit. Lift your pelvic floor, just a gentle squeeze of the low torso, the core, to help push the air out. And then release, take the next breath. Inhaling, expanding, exhaling, a little bit of tone to the core. Release and receive the next breath. Now keep that going in the belly, in the side waist, in the back, and the pelvic floor, but bring awareness now to your rib cage. As you're inhaling, fill up the belly and then fill up the ribs. Feel them expand outward and upward on the inhale. And as you exhale, use the core muscles to gently push the breath out, but use the ribs as well. Feel them coming downward and inward, using the muscles in between the ribs. Take a couple breaths here with awareness in the low belly and the rib cage, the first two parts of our three-part breath. Noticing both the inhale and the exhale. And now keep all of that going. And let's shift all the way up here to the top of the chest. And as you bring an inhale in, feel the lifting of the shoulders, but also feel the expansion into the armpits. Feel the back body, the shoulder blades, lots going on up here. And as you exhale, feel it all coming back to center to help release the breath. Perhaps noticing even a sensation in the neck. There are some muscles in the neck that help us with breathing. Take about 5 more breaths here with awareness of the 3 parts of the breath, Dirgha Swasam. Unleashing your diaphragm, giving it a place to move down into as it contracts and pulls the breath in. And then using the muscles in the torso, the core, to help push that breath out. And then open the eyes if they're closed. Come off of your props if you're using any, and let's go to the back. So as you come to the back, let's keep the knees bent, feet in line with the hips. And a couple breaths here in this shape to feel the 3 parts of the breath here now. And this is a good way to practice your diaphragmatic breath. It's a little harder to cheat and hold that belly in here. So give the diaphragm a place to expand down into on your inhale. And then we can engage the core, drawing the navel back towards the spine and lifting it up a bit, Uddiyana Bandha. Now on your next inhale, let's let go of everything and stretch. Wake up those muscles, maybe even a yawn. Feel how when you start this stretch, it's at first something that you're directing and then the body just takes over. Then draw your knees into the chest now, a little Aponasana. Circling through the hips, feeling the low back. Feeling the sacrum, pressing into the lumbar vertebrae, kind of flattening the back here. Now go the other way. And come to stillness. Now keep the knees lifted, and your legs are going to look like a chair, like you're sitting in a chair, or maybe you are the chair. So the shins are parallel to the earth, the knees point up. Bring the arms up. So we call this dead bug sometimes in yoga. So I'm going to call it upside down bird dog. So we do bird dog. Let's do it upside down. So I'm going to bring my right arm up and the left leg out. Reach through the heel. Don't touch. Feel the core engagement. And then as you exhale, come up. Inhale. And exhale. As you become aware of the core, know that you can keep the core engaged and shift the breath more into the ribs and in the upper chest. That core engagement supports the low back. So let's do 2 more each side. Feel that reach, feel that cross reach. And then back up and bring the feet down. Bring the hands beside the hips. Feet are on the floor. As you inhale, arc the back a bit. So you should be able to slide your hands underneath there. And then exhale, press it down. So we're going to get a little bigger and bigger with this. Inhale, maybe more of a lift. And exhale, press it down. Hands to the mat. Inhale, maybe even more of a lift. Lift your hips with this. And exhale. Come down and see if you can land on a flat low back. Just play. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Inhale, lift. And exhale, reach with that tailbone, almost like you're doing a crunch here, and come down. Let's do 1 more and we'll hold this time. So lifting. If your head, neck feels kind of crunched, lift your chin. Lift the back of your head, tuck your chin towards your chest, reach through the top of the head and lay the head back down. Breathe. Breathe up and down this arc of the spine. I always think of the arch in St. Louis, that big arch. So we're arching up now. And exhale back down. Come back down to a neutral spine. Just land, just land, just land. Pause here for a breath. And then bring the knees to the chest, even curling up. So now we're kind of the opposite of that St. Louis arch. We're rounding up in the spine, curling up. And from here, let's take the hands to the back of the knees. Play a little bit, rounding up the spine, balancing on the sit bones. Let's do a few of these. Next time, let's balance. Coming up on the sit bones, maybe a little boat pose here. So engage the core now. Draw the navel in and lift it. Uddiyana Bandha. Little squeeze of the pelvic floor. Breathe. Feel the core. Feel that core engaged, but know that you can breathe in the ribs. And then coming back up. Bringing your prop back underneath your bottom if you need that. I'm going to come to Sukasana. Easy seated pose, but it's not easy for some people. And if it's not, we can modify for you. Come to a pose that you can maintain those curves in the spine. Let's explore the movement available in the spine. I want you to inhale, bring your arms up. Let's do side bends. Exhale, right hand out to the mat, left arm up and over. Inhale, push yourself up. Feel that lift. Exhale, go the other way. Exhaling, maybe more space to fold. Inhale. And exhale. Keeping your chest square with the edge of the mat that's in front of you. So it's not a twist, or it's not a rounding, not a twist. It's a lateral flexion and extension. I think of I'm a little teapot when I do my side bends. Feel that stretch in the side waist. And then come back up to center. Bring the hands to heart. And exhale, hands home to the heart. Inhale, open to goddess. Now I've got my arms balanced. Everything's right in line with my shoulders. Spine's still pretty neutral. I'm gonna lift my heart, lift my gaze, send my pelvis forward, and come into a bit of a back bend. So we call this spinal extension. And now bring those forearms forward to touch, and we'll round through the back. Inhale, open, lift, exhale, round, and fold. So remember, we want the spine to be resilient. We're bringing the spine through lots of movement here, our range of motion, keeping the joint spaces healthy, keeping those soft tissues, the muscles, ligaments, and tendons ready to work, stretched out and ready to work. And then come back up to neutral. Find that alignment. Find that place of stillness. Let's change the cross of the legs if you're in Sukhasana with me. Let's twist a little bit. And from that goddess position of the shoulders, I'm going to turn to the right. Take my left arm to the outside of my right knee. I'll take this right arm up, back, and down. Sit tall on your inhale, and as you exhale, bring the spine into a twist. Remember all three parts of the spine: the lumbar, the low back, the rib cage, and the neck. Breathe into the belly. I like to exaggerate my breath here in this shape. So as I inhale, I'm going to expand big. And as I exhale, I'm going to squeeze big. So an opportunity for the breath to massage the contents of the low belly, the digestive organs. Now, before we leave this, let's turn the head to the left shoulder. And then it's kind of fun to just let go and unwind. Let's take the second side. Inhale up, exhale, and then twist. Sit tall, lengthen before you come up deeper into the twist. And then feel each of the segments of the spine, and then maybe even a little deeper, each of the vertebrae. Give each of them a little wringing out. Now take your gaze over your right shoulder, and then release. Whew, let it go. Boing, boing, boing. We're going to add some sound effects. So come over your knees and meet me in table now. And we've explored all the movements of the spine. So in your table, just play. Just see what kind of movement you can discover. Let's come back to our bird dog in this shape. Push the mat away with the hands. Reach back with the right leg. Come onto the ball of the foot. While we're here, let's stretch the calf muscle. Start drawing the navel towards the spine. Keep that. Lift the heel and reach out with the left arm. Reach through the fingertips, reach through the heel. We've got the core engaged. We're going to keep it that way and bring elbow to knee and knee to elbow around the back. Inhale, reach long. And exhale, round. One more time, inhale, reach long. Exhale, round. And then float hand and knee down. Maybe a little movement here, a little more self-care, a little more self-exploration. Coming to stillness, reach back with the left. Onto the ball of the foot, stretch through the calf muscle. Now the right arm out, thumb up, lift the heel, engage the core, lift the front body towards the back. Keep the engagement of the navel towards the spine, pelvic floor gently lifted, and then round and reach and round and reach and round. Reach one more time and back down. Pause here in neutral. So bring the gaze down towards the mat and then sit back in child's pose. You can come into a modified happy puppy as well. And breathe. Maybe roll the hands around a little bit. Wiggle the fingers. And I'm going to turn. I want you to be towards the back of the mat now. Tuck your toes. And let's sit back on the heels. With the toes tucked, get a little stretch in the soles of the feet. Feel the curves of the spine. You may have a little tip forward here in the pelvis. That's okay. Now bring the hands to the mat and we're going to lift up onto our tiptoes. Do a little tiptoe squat. And notice here with the chest supported, you get a nice stretch through the back, a little decompression of the spine here, maybe even dropping the chin. A little agility practice. Now lift the sit bones straight up. Keep the fingertips on the mat. Keep the knees bent a lot. Make sure the feet are underneath the hips here. And let's play with stretching the hamstrings. So hands could be on blocks, fingertips to the mat, or even to the shins. As you inhale, lift the sit bones. Feel those hamstrings waking up. And as you exhale, soften, drop the hips. Let your head hang. Inhale, lift. And exhale, soften. Inhale, lift. And exhale, soften. One more time, lift. Maybe we'll hold here. Waking up the back of the thighs, maybe a little wag of the tail. Now pull your feet away from each other. Swing your arms out and up. Hands overhead, maybe a bit of a back bend here. Lift the heart. Exhale. Hands home to the heart. Pause here. Let's step a little wider. Do some circling through the hips. So the hips and the shoulders are important for your back health. If you don't have a lot of flexibility or alignment in those joints, it's just going to transfer to the spine. Now go the other way. And then come to stillness. Now take your head and I want you to make a circle with your head. It's called gliding. And go the other way. So the circle is with the chin moving around in a circle, keeping the chin parallel to the floor. Gliding. Now let's take the hands to the ribs and see if we can do that same movement in the ribs. And then notice what's happening. The hips are coming along. The head is gliding. Just let this happen. You can even Drop those arms, and now you look like the Walking Dead. And go the other way. And then come back to mountain pose. We're standing at the back of the mat. I want you to inhale, reach up. I've got to watch my furniture here. Exhale, fold forward, bend your knees. Inhale, lift and lengthen. On an exhale, let's walk out to table. Let's take a back bend here. Bring the heart forward, lift the tailbone. Back to neutral on your exhale, tuck your toes, lift into down dog. It's our first down dog, so let's play here. Move, find space, feel. Maybe there's some places that haven't had a chance to wake up yet. Find them, wake them up. And then settle into stillness. Bend your knees a bit here. Reach through those fingertips. Push the hands forward. Let that push your belly towards your thighs. Bend your knees more. And then just like we did to begin with when we were at the back of the mat in our first forward fold, lift the sit bones on your inhale. Press the hips down towards the mat. Maybe a little tail wag. Now bend your knees a lot. Walk your hands to your feet. Forward fold here. Take your hands to your shins, lift halfway. Lengthen through the spine. So this is called axial extension. Think of pulling both ends of the spine, making space. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, hands home to the heart. Let's do one more. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold forward. Let's lift halfway. Axial extension. Let those disc spaces breathe. Exhale, walk out. Let's try plank this time. So on the balls of the feet, hips are lower than shoulders. And shift back and forth here. So on tippy toes, shift back and forth. Draw that navel back towards the spine. And then pause as the shoulders are over the wrists or maybe a little forward. See if you can drop your hips a little lower. Keep the core engaged. Push away. Feel the length of the spine. And then as you exhale, drop the knees. And then bend the elbows, bring the chest and chin to the mat and slither out onto the belly. Tuck your chin now. Keep the forehead to the mat. Think about your legs here. I'm going to lift my head for the sake of the microphone. Walk the legs so they're hip distance apart. Tops of the feet are on the mat. Push down into the feet. Push the pubic bone into the mat. Draw it up towards the low ribs. Suck the belly button back. Chin is towards the chest. We're going to pull the hands towards the ribs. Heart comes forward, lifting the heart. Gaze follows. Let's keep low ribs on the mat. Little baby cobra. Exhale, come down. Now for the next four, we're going to float the hands, feeling the work of the low back. Inhale up. Really more than the low back if you come up a little higher. Exhale down. 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more. So the core wraps all the way around. Let's hold, inhale, lift. Draw the navel back, lift it up. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Breathe. Lots to think about, huh? And then exhale, come down into crocodile. Rest the head on the back of the hands. Separate the knees a little bit and then bend the knees and rinse your rotation side to side. Bringing the pelvis along for the ride. So you release the low back. And then float the shins back down. Let them go. And we're going to rest here for a few breaths. Letting the exhale wash away the tension. Wash away the stagnation. Bringing us into a grounded sense. Connection and support. come into our Superman shape. So the arms are out long, legs are back in line with the hips. I'm going to bring my forehead down. I'm lifting my left arm and my right leg, so kind of like bird dog in a locust shape. Feel that diagonal stretch across the torso while with the other side. Let's do one more each side. And then we'll lift everything together. So lifting arms, legs, ears are right between the upper arms. Breathe. Draw your navel towards your spine like a airbag to support the lumbar spine, the low back. And then exhale, legs come down. Hands by armpits, meet me in down dog. Move a bit here. See how the spine feels. See how the hips feel. See how the shoulders feel. Breathe. Now draw a line, an imaginary line, right up the center of your mat, and take as many teeny tiny steps as you can fit onto that tightrope as you walk to the top of the mat. When you arrive, plant your feet under your hips. Keep your knees bent. Bent a lot. So you can lay the belly and the ribs on the thighs. Grab opposite elbows. Let your head hang. Shake your head yes. Release the neck. Shake your head no. And then sway here a little bit side to side. Drop your arms like elephant trunks, keeping the knees bent a lot and the arms dangling, head dangling. Round up one vertebrae at a time. Knees bent here is important. As you arrive, inhale, reach up. And exhale. Hands home to the heart. Bring the arms down to the sides and pause. Eyes can be closed. It's nice to close the eyes. Feeling in stillness, there's always movement. The body and the mind are always busy keeping us balanced. Witness that, feel that. Inhale, swing your arms up. On an exhale, fold forward. Lifting halfway, lengthen through that spine. As you exhale, hands can come to blocks or the mat. We're going to step back with the right foot. Let's rise up in a lunge. Coming up, feet on railroad tracks. As you arrive, hands to hips. Bend that back knee. Scoop the tailbone under a bit. And then reach through the heel, any amount. Try to soften these ribs in the front. Neutral spine, all of those natural curves. Swing your arms forward, roll those little fingers in, and then bring the arms up any amount. They can be in front of the face, maybe even up by the ears. Maybe you bring your hands together, lift your heart, lift your gaze, little back bend here. Feeling all those vertebrae, giving each one of them a chance to move independently. Keeping your navel towards the spine, supporting the low back. And then exhale, fold forward, frame the foot, step back in down dog. Wiggle here a bit. And we're going to walk the tightrope again. See if you can start with the opposite foot. And if you don't know what that is, notice which one you want to draw forward and make it the other one. Maybe a few less steps this time. Arriving with the feet under the hips, bend the knees a lot. Maybe this time the arms hang and you kind of sway like you're drawing a rainbow in the sand. Keeping the arms heavy, the head heavy, knees bent deeply. Round up one vertebrae at a time. And this time as you round up, you pass through neutral and let those heavy arms just swing back. Lift your gaze. Bit of a back bend. Draw that navel in, support the low back. Back to neutral. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Lift and lengthen halfway. Step back with the left foot. Look back there at the foot. Make sure your feet are on railroad tracks, and then rise up. So it's easy to rise up and have the ribs flared and you're already in this back bend. Let's not go there. Bend the knee. Boy, it looks like there might be ice on the branches out there. Now we're going to scoop the tailbone, bring the ribs towards the pelvis, neutralizing the spine, and then maybe you reach a little further through that heel. Bring those arms out, roll the little fingers towards each other, then swing the arms up. Maybe you lift into a bit of a back bend. Maybe you even bring those arms into goddess. Maybe you even explore bringing the elbows down a bit and lifting the arms up and down and up. And then folding forward, frame the foot. Let's step back into plank this time. You can always drop to a kneeling plank, just dropping the knees. But let's see if we can stay lifted for a bit, working the core. Drawing navel back towards the spine. A little lift of the pelvic floor. Feet are hip distance apart, and then tip the heels to the right. Tip the heels to the left. Feel that work in the waist. Another part of the core. Side to side. And then back to plank. Drop your knees. Let's bring the feet wide and the toes together. Press back in a wide child's pose. Modification would be with the forehead down, hips up. Let it go. With the knees wide like this, notice we're in a bit of a back bend. We're supported. Breathe. Feeling especially the inhale, stretching and massaging the muscles of the back. Let it go. Meet me in table. Knees under hips. Let's reach out with the right leg. So I'm rolling across the big toe edge to the pinky toe edge of that foot. Come up onto your fingertips and walk your hands to your knees. Rise up. Neutralize your spine. So not too far forward, not rounded. Find that Goldilocks spot. Shoulders are square with the front edge of your mat. Take your right hand to your thigh. Reach up and over with your left. Let's work the muscles a little bit and act like you're holding a big beach ball here. Breathe. Breathing more into the ribs now. We're engaging the obliques. We're engaging the core. And then inhale up with your beach ball. Exhale down. Let's thread the needle here. Keep that leg right where it is. Left arm out. Now swing your left arm under you and take your shoulder and twist. And then back, reaching up. So we're swirling around in our twist a couple times before we land. Now reach and come down. And you might even be able to take that left hand to the right shin. Take the right arm up and then drop it behind you. Breathe. And bring the hands to the mat and unwind. Take the left arm way up there again and then back down. If you feel like a couple cat-cows or just any sort of, well, improvise. Some spinal movement, some hip movement, shoulder movement. And then second side, so set your table. Reach out with the left leg, roll to the little toe edge, that protects your knee. Lift the kneecap, that protects your knee. Come up onto your fingertips, walk until you're standing. Feel the pelvis here. Square the shoulders, left hand palm up, right hand up and over. And then maybe hold your beach ball. Breathing more into the ribs here. supporting the spine with core engagement. Inhale up. Exhale, drop the beach ball. Threading the needle, we're going to push into the left hand, right arm out. And then take the outside of the left shoulder as you twist. And open, maybe lift a little higher. Grab the shoulder and twist. Way up there. And this time we're going to shoot that hand over. Maybe you take the shin. Maybe you lift the left arm, turn that palm behind you, and then bend the elbow. Just drape the arm back there. Breathe. Unwind. Back to table. Let's take a down dog here. Wiggle. And then find your way to a seated position with the knees bent. So I'm going to lean back a little bit. So let's do a boat. So we're going to do a boat pose so I can get you to the place I want you to be on your sacrum. And then bring your feet down. Then come up onto those sit bones. So Dandasana with knees deeply bent. And then inhaling up, exhale, fold forward. So a modified Paschimottanasana. Inhale, come up. Then maybe come out a little further with the legs. I'm going to come to my heels now and flex my feet. Inhale up. Exhale, fold and reach. Inhale up. And maybe this time you extend the legs long. I usually keep a bend in my knees for my hamstrings though. So inhale, exhale. Then once I'm over here, I've got space to gently stretch into those hamstrings. Breathe. And then rising up. I'm going to keep my right leg out long and bend my left. Bringing the sole of the foot to the mat. And like I'm going to stand on that foot. I want to take an open twist though, so not towards the knee, away from the knee. Breathe. Now I'm going to unwind and let's take a closed twist. So a gentle twist towards the knee. Keep the thigh tight to the belly. Breathing into the ribs. Let's take the second side. Right foot up. Open twist to the left. And a closed twist to the right. Facing forward, let's bend both knees, bring the soles of the feet together, and move around here, tick-tock. And then find balance, find that stillness, sitting up nice and tall, folding forward, leading with your heart, any amount. Forearms can come to shins. Weight of the forearms can help open this, but resist. We're going to gently coax those muscles into relaxing a little bit. And then maybe here, if it feels good in your body, just let it go. Just let the head hang. Breathe. And inhale, rising up. I'm going to turn again. Let's come into one more boat pose, Navasana. So leaning back like I'm in my lazy boy chair. I'm going to lift my shins. Whew. Take my hands, maybe releasing the touch on the legs. Maybe lowering a little more, straightening those legs. And then come to your back. If you're like me, you end up flopping. As you arrive, pause. Feet on the mat, knees bent. Everything lined up with the hips. Lift one shoulder at a time and tuck your shoulder blades. Hands to the mat, palms down. On an inhale, let's lift the hips. Push the knees away. And on an exhale, come down. So back to our bridge. Inhale up. Maybe a little higher this time. Keep the thighs reaching towards each other just to keep them lined with the hips. So you don't want to slap the hips or the thighs together. In fact, a little spacer with the block is a good idea. And on this next one, we're going to hold. And take your block and let's slide it underneath the sacrum. So not the lumbar spine, not that inner curve. We're going to right under the hips. It should feel really good when you get down here. And maybe lift one knee, maybe lift the other. Maybe you reach up through the legs and then play here with the feet. Does it feel good to point? Does it feel good to flex? I like to lace or link my ankles together and bend the knees, and it's kind of sort of a Baddha Konasana, but I've got that support of a hooked ankle to make this more of a restorative, relaxing pose. Float those feet to the mat. Walk the feet wide. Let's take one more little swish, swish with the shins. Little twisting to release the back. And then I'm going to stay here in constructive rest. So my feet are wide, knees are going to float together. If that feels good in your body, take it. Or whatever other pose, posture, asana you choose. As you lie here for a few moments of stillness, see if you can guide your breath behind the heart, riding the curves of the spine down to the tailbone. And then back up, almost like a gentle little roller coaster ride. Those little kiddie roller coasters, just gentle. Maybe even discovering a little pinpoint of starlight in the tailbone that comes along with the breath, up and down. Now the next time that pinpoint of light reaches the tailbone, let it stay there. Shifting your awareness to your fingers and your toes and your ankles and wrists and everything else. Start moving. Reaching long one more time, maybe one more yawn. And drawing the knees to the chest. Let's roll side to side across the length of the back. Feel the weight shift. Come to your side and press yourself up to a seated position. Back to where we started. I hope that felt good for your back. So a little stretching, a little strengthening, a lot of awareness. Let's inhale one more time together, reach up. Gather what you need, and as you exhale, release the things that no longer serve you. May you have peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful world. Namaste. I'll see you Monday, 7 o'clock. Have a great weekend.